He pulled me over, I asked him, yo, what's the problem, sir? I swear to duck the potholes, man, I had no option, sir. Just let me go, cause my license insurance proper, sir. I hate to be on the run for smoking the officer. We was busting that police before Queen and Slim, that's on the fin. Let off 50 shots to the squad car and get in the wind.
All right, everyone.
In 05 that I got more guns than them.
We are here yet again, the Slightly Biased Podcast Boys.
What up, what up, what up?
Or should I say the Slightly Viewed Boy? We had a comment on one of our videos that said more like slightly viewed. It's honestly pretty
Hey,
funny.
our Cardinals wasn't very slightly viewed.
Yeah, suck my dick, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. That shit was funny. That shit had me laughing. That's pretty creative. All right.
Yeah, funny.
Well, here we are. It is June 3rd. I feel like that's important that we say the date that we were recording this in case any crazy shit happens between now and the time you hear it.
Yep.
We are as up to date with everything as possible. And, man, just got to say, it would be very disingenuous of us to come on here and not talk about current events.
Yep.
Anytime on Twitter or on other shows or podcasts that they just brush over everything, it feels very weird to me.
Right.
I mean, this is a big time moment in history for us.
Yep.
I felt the same way about the coronavirus. Some people are just brushing that shit off. This is a little more intense.
Mm-hmm.
So
coronavirus is definitely taking a back seat.
It's definitely taking a back seat. It's still there, though. I see you conspiracy theorists. I see you conspiracy theorists out there. It's still there. Okay. But you know, obviously we have to talk about what's going on. You said you wanted to start us off.
Yeah.
So the floor is yours, brother.
All right, y'all. It's Brett coming to you hot and slightly biased. June 3rd, as Conley said, let's get it going. I kind of just wanted to say my piece, and all right, here we go. All right, y'all. Times are tough. You got the pandemic, society uproar and chaos, 40 million unemployed. Lately, we've seen it all, including riots and looting, ruining times of peaceful protests, and we've seen shocking behavior from police as well, even during the peaceful protests. There's been numerous amounts of unfortunate situations. This is the result of high emotions and frustrations for years of seeing the same thing over and over again. People of color treated a certain way, structurally in America, and more specifically by the police, even to the extent of dying and losing their lives, and still years of no change. This doesn't mean all cops are bad, but there's something to be said about the way this country is being led by a leader who is divisive and would rather implement hate and military force than hope and positivity on the American people. Telling Americans to kill each other instead of coming together and working together. No one thinks looting and rioting is necessarily okay or should be tolerated, but people have been fed up for a long time, and this is the result. People and companies have said a lot of words, and people are posting their black screens to be vocally involved in the movement of social injustice. But we also need to remember to take legitimate actions as well. Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, one of my favorite people on the planet, quoted Benjamin Franklin where he says, "Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are." I think it's been positive, the number of people, regardless of race, that have been out on the streets sharing the same outrage as African Americans, especially to this extent, to where we may not have seen it in these past situations. Taking these protests and posts and words to the next level will be critical, maybe more critical now than ever before. And Killer Mike said, it's time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. Vote not only in the presidential election, but in your local elections as well. For your chiefs of police, judges, district attorneys, mayors, and so on. So as hurt as I am for business owners, good cops getting hurt and maybe even killed, protesters being hurt and maybe even killed, buildings being burned, and things of that nature, all the negative outcomes from the protests, which no one wants, other than the true records of society, with no other agenda other than to hurt people or have motives of pure greed. It's been important for people to see the true hurt and pain that people, especially of color, are dealing with as they feel their voices have been ignored for too long and have witnessed too many of their own kind wrongly imprisoned and killed. I mean, hey, we are in 2020, y'all. Still dealing with the same issues we were dealing with 50, 60 years ago and all the worst times even before that. I saw a post that said after MLK was assassinated, American cities started rioting, causing $47 million in damages. On the 6th day, the Civil Rights Act of 1968 was passed. To be in these times, it's baffling, it's shocking, it's downright disappointing. With the leader we have, it's hard to be optimistic about real change. Where is the voice we all need to give hope to the people? So it's going to be up to us, everyone in their local communities, to affect themselves, to affect change from the ground up. So for me, I pray that we can find justice in George Floyd's death with the correct convictions to the officers involved. Also, that we can find ways to integrate into the government to truly change what the people are crying out so much for and desperately need. I do want to pray for our police during this time, as we know they have tough jobs. This has probably been more difficult on them than we know. Also, I pray for the people who are constricted by their political views or racist hearts can somehow become enlightened by the voices of the hurt. And finally, I pray that we can all come together to come out of this stronger and build a better society for everybody. Thank you.
Wow.
It's my quarterback.
Beautifully said, dude. Well done.
Thank you.
Good job, man. That really highlighted all the points. I mean, all the things that really are at the crux of the issues, man. People are fed up. It's as simple as that. You can't continuously put a certain group of people down over and over and over again and then expect them to just lay on their back and continuously take it over and over and over again. It just doesn't work like that. And we've reached a tipping point, man, where even, stuff that I've noticed, even people who maybe at one time were on the fence about these issues, who maybe would say, okay, yeah, black people are treated badly, but maybe not as badly as like the media's making out. I've seen people on the fence like that who have switched sides 100% and who are now on the side of no more. This shit just can't happen anymore. It just can't, dude. I mean, I'm a white male from the suburbs and I'm exhausted.
Yep.
I'm tired of seeing this shit. I can only imagine what our black brothers and sisters are going through on a daily basis. I mean, how is a video like that? It's hard to even like come to grips with how something that happened to George Floyd, how that's even possible. How a police officer can rest his knee on someone's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
This one just feels different.
Right. This one, I mean, I've seen a lot of these videos. They're all tragically heartbreaking. I mean, anytime you see a video like this, really kind of regardless of the context, it's just, you're witnessing someone lose their life. So there's just intense severity to it. But this one was, God, it just felt, I don't even know. It felt so evil.
And we've already kind of seen some repercussions, like that one officer who was kind of holding the guy down, I guess, kind of sitting on his neck, and other officer came over and like pushed him off and was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I did see that exact clip you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. So
yeah, I've been
and
watching all these.
No one likes all these things, the bad going on with some of the. We'd rather have it more peaceful, but
right.
Like you said, it's come to a tipping point to where emotions are really high. And like I said, I mean, the people that are going to take advantage of the situation is kind of just a part of it, right?
Yeah, these are going to happen during protest.
You have to kind of try to separate those things.
Yeah, you have to. But you also have to – I'm not saying you have to just blindly say, oh, well, the riots are going to happen. They're fine, whatever. Obviously, you don't want it to come to violent riots, stores being burned down, people getting killed. But, again – you've reached this point. I said this a couple of days ago that you need to come from a place of understanding where this anger is coming from. And I would say maybe, a decent amount of the rioters are people who are just opportunistic, who are just taking this advantage to loot stores and cause chaos. And I mean, you guys, I've been preaching this in the group meet. Agent provocateurs are real things. So that's why I've been saying, be careful when you generalize all of these protesters when riots break out, because there are real life people in police forces or in government forces who cause destruction on purpose.
Yep.
And there are people from other political groups who may disagree with the cause who will go to a peaceful protest, stir shit up. That way it turns violent. And when it turns violent, we all know, the excuse people come up with, right? If for some reason people use it as an excuse to completely disregard a cause, which is bullshit, obviously. But those people need to look in the mirror. Realistically, is what the fucking truth is. Those people need to look in the mirror. If your first comments during this whole thing weren't about the George Floyd murder or about police brutality, but instead about property being destructed or about protesters being killed by other protesters, you look a little goofy in the light. You just do. That's how I feel.
It's bigger than that.
I mean, look, I can say, like, I'm on the side of the protesters, all of this. I can say, though, like, yeah, the riots shouldn't be happening. That right. I don't think really anyone necessarily agrees with violent rioting. But as you mentioned earlier, people always use MLK as this, as an example of peaceful protesting. People should really read up on stuff. And this is I'm going to expand on this point later, but people really need to read up on their history about shit that went down back then, because MLK was an amazing person, no doubt about it. He preached peace, positivity, all of this stuff. That social justice movement back in the 60s, that doesn't happen without Malcolm X or the Black Panthers as well. It just doesn't.
Yep.
And like you said, I mean, there were 6 days of rioting before the act was signed in the 60s after MLK died. And after MLK, if we're being blunt, after MLK was murdered by the government, keep in mind, guys, that the people that this person that you want everyone to adore in this hero, and he is a hero, but they killed him. That is an example that the government set for Black Americans. That's just the reality of the situation.
Scary shit.
It is scary shit, man. They killed him. You can do your research. You cannot believe it. It's really not even a conspiracy theory at this point. I mean, if you just do any shred of research, you'll say, wow, this is really fucky. Don't want to die. That's a completely different story for a different day. But it's still like, just
and that's different, man. We don't have a leader like that right now.
No, yeah,
and the leader we've got is as far from that as possible.
I know. I mean, you mentioned it in your speech. Our leader leads by hate and division. This is how he wins, man. It's how he won in 2016. It's how he's going to try to win this year.
I mean, the militarization of police is just terrifying.
It is terrifying. And that's kind of a point I want to get into in a second. But I think the most important thing right now that we can do, not just as a white person, not just as a Black person, but as a community as a whole, as a society, as a country, is just listen, learn, talk with one another, understand one another. There's so much that we can do, so many doors open when you just try to become a learner. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When you shift your focus from, okay, well, how can I implement my beliefs on someone else too? Okay, well, let me hear somebody out real quick.
Right.
It's amazing how your thoughts, things that you believe to be true for years, can change.
Yep.
It's incredible, because I'll tell you this right now. If I'm being really honest, I came from the South. I'm a white kid, come from a white family. I grew up in a pretty well-off place. My viewpoint on this would have been much different 10 years ago, just straight up, if I'm being honest. But I'm proud of, the best thing that ever happened to me, I think, in my life was recognizing where I was ignorant in certain aspects of my life, things that I was ignorant to, things that I was unaware of, because we're all ignorant of certain things. We all grow up inside of our own little bubbles. And for some people, that bubble pops at different times than others. Some people it pops really early, and you're exposed to the real world very, very early. For other people, some people's bubbles never burst. Some people are inside their protected little bubble for their entire lives and don't understand what happens outside of it.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
Whole lot of that going on.
It's important, and it was one of the most important things I did in my life was recognizing that you do live inside of a protected bubble, and what happens inside this bubble is not how the real world is. So do what you can to learn about your surroundings. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just be understanding. It's really not difficult, actually.
Yep.
It's not difficult to sit down and listen to somebody speaking, or to read up on a topic, or to have a conversation with someone, it'll do wonders for your life. It'll do wonders for your life. And this is the same, just like, this is what we're dealing with, people. Okay. There is a systematic issue with how the police behave in our country. There has been forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this, no one, by saying this, I'm not saying go kill the police or anything. People need to understand that. Okay. To be honest with you, dude, I have little respect for police. I've had interactions with police officers that went terribly wrong for no reason. And I'm a white male. I've had interactions with the police where I have actually left wondering what would have happened if I were a different race. Things need to change, and quickly. I mean, dude, okay, just listen to this story real quick. The Minneapolis police officers, the same police department that killed George Floyd, they left a Minnesota Lynx game because the Minnesota Lynx, the WNBA team in Minneapolis, they left the game because they were wearing Black Lives Matter shirts during a warm-up. They got their feelings hurt so bad over Black Lives Matter shirts. These are the people who are serving and protecting you.
Right.
Who get their feelings hurt over a shirt that says Black Lives Matter. Think about that, please. Please think about that for a second. That these are the people who are on the streets serving and protecting, and who come to almost every situation they're involved in with just this bloodthirstiness that they're just so fucking I mean, you see this in the riots, in the protests. Yeah. People are out protesting police brutality, and what do? In front of everyone, in front of cameras, in front of news agencies. They don't give a fuck.
No.
They are beating the shit out of people. They are shooting people in the fucking face with rubber bullets. Do people know what rubber pellets are? They're not.
Yeah. I think it's just like a Nerf bullet or something.
Dude, these things can kill you. I think I saw a tweet. I don't want to get the percentage wrong. I think
there have been some good cop moments as well, to be fair.
I'm just going to be honest with you, man. I have a hard time celebrating them. Because
I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be somewhat, like there has been a few good moments as well.
The thing about the good moments that bother me is, are we supposed to sit here and celebrate anytime a cop does something good? No. Sorry. That should be their every single day job. It shouldn't be this. Hold on, guys. This guy actually decided not to beat the fuck out of him for once.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. The time is up, dude. The time has been up. That's just for some of the shit. There has been some pretty powerful police moments, like the Flint police chief who took off all of his shit and marched with the protesters. That was nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need more people like that for sure. And he did what I was saying earlier. He just was understanding that he doesn't have a full grasp of the situation, so he's just going to shut the fuck up and listen to what people have to say. Yeah, it's just the world is a crazy place right now, man. But it's exciting though, in a way, a little tiny bit. There's just some excitement in that
for change for the future.
This is the young people run the world, right? Our generation runs the world. We're the most powerful group of people, and we don't really know that yet because we're not in really any position of power. But our voices are so loud when they come together. We just have such a big platform for change. And I think we're finally starting to realize that a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's powerful. I mean, I just hope that this has sparked something in people to go out November and vote.
And not just presidential.
Right, yeah. Like you said earlier, I mean, you made a fucking fantastic point. Vote for your local legislator. Vote for all of that shit. Because that directly impacts you.
Some of which is going on now, I believe.
Yeah, there are seemingly, if you ever drive down the street and there's, you notice that there's always some type of posters up. And you're like, what the fuck is that for? City, what? Those are always happening.
And that matters too. That matters too.
Dude, there was I don't know what it was for. Congressman or something. I don't know. But there was some Plano election. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. And the lady who won it is batshit insane. She didn't want anybody not from Plano, Texas to drive on the roads of Plano. You had to be a Plano citizen to drive on the roads.
Yeah, it's wild.
And she won.
And I'm not saying I've been like super expert on anything political or voting or none like that, but I was kind of preaching to myself as well.
It's a lesson that every young
I had to really like sit back and like prepare that speech because I've been so just taking it all in, and
Yeah.
from both sides, everybody's just screaming, their points of view, and people are upset, and, people just, some of us have to just kind of sit down and try to like rationalize it all,
Yeah, that's entirely fair. Vote, just vote. Do some research. Research does not take long.
And don't just watch the main channel news.
No, don't watch them at all. Do research. Get research from several different sources. It really doesn't take long. Try to find resources from .orgs, or try to find peer-reviewed studies. Try to find resources that you can trust, and don't go into research looking to just reaffirm your points. Anytime I research something, a lot of time, and this is for sports mainly, but I always try to challenge myself to disprove my own belief when I research stuff. Does that make sense? Because you will do much more thorough research if you go into it. Like, for example, we'll just do a sports example because we're a sports podcast. I'm saying, okay, Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. I would go in looking for research to find, okay, maybe why isn't he a top 10 quarterback?
Right.
And then when you leave that, you say, oh, wait, Dak is fucking 1,000,000% a top 10 quarterback after the research I just did. But you went into it not ready to reaffirm your own beliefs. That's important.
Right.
Because some people just do these half-ass research where they skip through certain stuff or they omit certain things.
Might find a little piece of context where they're like, oh, see, told you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Don't go in researching like that. It's very important. We have so much information in our fingertips, at our fingertips, ready for us to learn so much. It's important that we do it, man. It's important that people educate themselves as much as possible on everything. Because, we can learn a lot from history. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right. So, I put together some stuff. I know I just talked for a long time. Sorry, dude.
No, that's good.
What can change? How can the police change? None of these are my own ideas. I got these from research. Okay. Again, I highly recommend you research this shit yourself and don't go to us for news like this. But we're going to talk about it anyway because it's our podcast. We'll do whatever we want. The police need to be demilitarized immediately. Immediately. Okay? Average police department spends 8 hours learning how to de-escalate situations. They spend 58 hours learning how to shoot a firearm. Does that even make sense to you? No. Counties with military equipment see an increase in civilian deaths by police officers by roughly 129%. Obama limited the amount of equipment that can be sent to police departments in 2015, but guess what? Mama, there goes that man. Donald Trump reversed the action in 2017.
Of course.
This is your leader, guys. In broken window policing, because it does not work, basically what broken window policing is police departments try to crack down on smaller crimes like vandalism or public intoxication, things like that, with the idea being that if they can cut down on small crime in a community, then big crime won't happen. This doesn't work because it just leads to profiling. In 2014 alone, police killed 287 people who were involved in minor offenses such as sleeping in a park, possessing drugs, or looking suspicious. Neither of those things are a death penalty.
Yes, doesn't mean you should die.
That's something that's important to say because people who go against this belief seem to always say, well, should have been committing a crime. And, okay, dude, you're so brave, first and foremost.
Doesn't mean you should die.
Yeah, like, it's not a public execution then, dude. Like, okay, I think here's the thing. If someone's walking around the street with a fucking AR-15 and is shooting people, okay. Get him off the street. If they die,
they die.
Yeah. If someone is just being a little rowdy because they're fucking on one, do they deserve to be shot to death? No.
Well, and that's been kind of the issue, right? We've seen, people of color die in situations where they shouldn't have, and we've seen people that have been white shoot up a bunch of people and be arrested very peacefully.
Yeah, that is another, and here's one thing I think that needs to be said about that. That is a huge point of frustration, obviously. Obviously, the black community sees that and says, well, what the fuck? Why is our people getting shot down the street for nothing? But like you said, all these white people shoot up schools and some of them get away with it. I mean, some of them do get killed, but some of them get away with it. We are not advocating that the police should just start gunning down everyone because they're gunning down black people. That's not what we're saying. We're saying the opposite. Because I've seen people on Twitter be like, well, what? Do you want them just to start killing everyone then? No, dude. That's the fucking opposite of what we're saying.
Right.
Yeah, so in broken window policing, in policing for profit, that is a joke that's still a thing in 2020, that we're still making money off the prison system. That is a complete joke. That is some third world country shit, and it needs to end. Obviously.
That's the thing, dude. There's so many bigger things from the top down that people don't even think about.
I mean, and that could be number one.
Right.
That could be number one. Private prisons.
Because they're going to influence cops to arrest more people.
Right. They need people inside their prisons. How do people not see an issue with that? I know, most people do, but
I don't think that's been talked about once during all this.
That shit is crazy to me, that is a system that we have in our country. Continue to record police. Unfortunately, the body cam shit is a sham. It's a complete and total facade.
Half time they have it off.
They're always off. I can't even think of one instance where somebody got caught. I think I remember one where someone planted coke in a woman's car or something, and their body cam picked it up, and they got fucked because of it. But continue to record the police, though. So if you're just a bystander and something's going on, take your phone out and record. Because in recent years, nearly every single cop who has been prosecuted was caught on film by a bystander.
Yep.
So be vigilant, record. It's one of the ways. Obviously, don't intervene on the situation, because you will then be put at risk yourself. But record.
Mm-hmm.
Record, and share that shit. Continue to scale up non-police organizations to respond to calls. There is no reason why police officers should go in guns a-blazing into situations with people who have serious mental illnesses. At least 1 in every 4 people killed by police have a serious mental illness. You think that these motherfuckers have any expertise in this, in mental illness, in how to diffuse a situation like that? No, not at all. Get some organizations in there who can go to those, go to situations like that and defuse and de-escalate situations. Because that is a travesty too, is how the police treat the mentally ill.
Well, we've talked about, I know one of our buddies has talked about this a lot, that just the training of the police in general has been, changed so much that's part of the reason we've gotten here as well.
Yeah, it all goes back to militarizing the police.
Right.
You give these police officers these crazy weapons that we use in wars against other armies. What the fuck do you think they're going to do? They want to use that shit. Did you see that video of that one cop who, during these protests, who was like dancing with his gun and then shot someone with it?
No, I didn't see that.
Crazy shit, dude. Like, what a tool. Boo. All right, what else do we have? And get federal investigations of the most violent police departments. Figure out what the fuck is going on in there and fix it. Departments that went through federal investigations and adopted new policies stemming from those investigations saw shootings fall between 27 and 35%. So get outside organizations to come in and figure out what the fuck is going on. And when something goes on, I don't want police departments investigating police departments anymore. Get third-party people to come in there and figure out what's going on.
That sounds a little sketch.
Yeah, no shit, dude. Oh, we didn't find anything. It's like
sounds
the first
a little slightly biased stuff going on.
Very slightly biased. The first doctor who made the autopsy came out and said, "Well, we can't really say that the cop killed George Floyd. There was a lot of things going on." Bitch, shut up, loser. All right, so that's what I got. That's all from research I did in 30 minutes. Okay, again, me pointing back to research. You learn a lot of stuff. We're not in a hopeless situation, people. We're really not. We can change stuff. We can. We have to keep applying pressure, though.
Yep.
And it is scary though, because it's like, when does this end?
I think a lot of it's gonna have to be at the local level and go from there. Yep. Every community is gonna have to come together and, locally.
I will say this though, in recent years, there have been a handful of police departments who have forced officers into more de-escalation courses in those counties, in those cities. The numbers are trending downwards as far as police brutality goes and complaints against police officers. So that is a good sign.
Well, and that's why I wanted to throw in my speech like a prayer for the police too, because I think a lot of good ones are getting bad raps, and like you said, you didn't want to dress them up too nice or anything, but did want to do that as well for for the police out there. It's got to be a tougher job than a lot of us realize.
Yeah, it does come to a point though where.
No, I'm with you. That's the main thing, but I did want to just have a little side note there.
Even the good ones
as
need
well.
to speak up more.
Mm-hmm.
You get the bad ones out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I have. What we can change. We'll get more into sports now, and there's no sports to talk about, so we're talking about this pretty much the whole episode. But we'll get more into like what athletes have to say about it. Obviously, Steven Jackson's been probably the most vocal about it.
Being that he was related to George Floyd. Was he
Uh,
related, or are they just like blood,
no,
like
he
family,
wasn't.
like
He
blood,
wasn't. They were
like,
not related.
That's my boy type thing.
They weren't related. It was like that's
Yeah.
my boy, and then they look a
Yeah.
lot alike.
Right.
So that was sort of how that came. I was confused about that at first though,
Right.
because they kept saying twin brother, and they did look kind of alike.
Mm-hmm.
So I was confused at first.
I have liked what he's been saying though, for the most part.
Yeah, no, he's said some great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Yeah, okay, they were close friends. I was just trying to triple check and make sure we were right that they weren't related before we said some dumb shit. But yeah. Okay, let's well, actually, this next part's pretty serious too. So, let's talk about the whole shut up and dribble thing that's coming out. I mean, this is by far the most vocal athletes have been. I don't think I have. I don't think. You could probably count on one hand the amount of athletes who haven't said anything. Honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're holding each other accountable as well. I've seen people getting added and shit. Like, yo, are you ever gonna say something? People getting upset about this. I mean, why, dude? Like, why get upset about athletes using their platform to speak up? Socialism, or I'm sorry, not socialism. Activism inside of sports and with athletes has been around since the advent of sports.
Right.
They've always been there, from Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens.
Some of our favorite people on the planet are the big athletes.
Yeah, they have these gigantic platforms.
All right.
And they briefly talked about
same thing with musicians,
actors, all of them. I mean, people look up to these celebrities. Is that wrong?
And I mean, more than half the time we can't trust the damn government, so we trust these people more than them.
Right. I mean, these are people that you look up to. These are people that you aspire to be like. So you listen to what they have to say. Yeah, more than a lot of other people. That's why, I mean, it was touched on briefly in the documentary, but that's why people in the 90s were pissed off at Jordan. Yep. Because he didn't really speak out at all. Then he made the Republican comment. He lied like 4 times on the doc, huh? Yeah, dude. I was the one who was telling y'all that documentary was a sham. That was a Jordan fluff piece, and everyone was eating that shit up. I said, dude, this thing is a joke. It was a good, fun documentary. But there is nothing of importance in it. Nothing. But yeah. That's funny. Getting upset at here's what the conclusion I've come to. If you're upset at athletes for speaking up, you're just upset because you disagree with them. It's just that simple. And you can't come to grasp with that fact because people don't want to tell themselves that they disagree with this. Because truth be told, if you disagree with like the Black Lives Matter stuff, I mean, you're probably a racist. I'm sure racists hated Muhammad Ali. Oh yeah. I'm sure they hated Bill Russell. Yeah. They hated Jackie Robinson. Yeah, they hated all of them. Right. I mean, Colin Kaepernick. Man, yeah, y'all wanted him out of there. Yep. Trump called him a son of a bitch. Yeah. NFL said you ain't getting on another team. Sorry. Yeah, definitely blackballed. I mean, that was obvious from the offset, but it's even more obvious now. Yep. And now how good does Colin Kaepernick look now? Yeah. 1,000%. That's actually something we're going to talk. Actually, we'll just transition now into that because this one's a little more. Well, it's still not lighthearted, but there's some jokes to be had. In regards to the kneeling stuff, Drew Brees today. I texted you. I said, "Man, I'm happy Drew Brees said all this shit today, so we can talk about it." Drew Brees, that's not my quarterback. Came out and said, "I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country." What a sport! Thank you for your service, Drew Brees. Put his foot in the ground, huh? Yeah. What a bootlicker. Obviously, this didn't go over well with anybody. No, it did not. Malcolm Jenkins had to come out and say, "Hey, Drew, shut the fuck up." Literally told him to shut the fuck up. His own teammate. They're on the same team now.
Michael Thomas was like, huh?
Yeah, Michael Thomas did the little barf emoji. Hold on.
Michael Thomas is a social media character, ain't he?
Yeah, people hate it. I think it's fine.
I
Whatever.
enjoy it.
I'm gonna play the Malcolm Jenkins video because he said some real shit.
And we need help. And what you're telling us is, don't ask for help that way. Ask for a different way. I can't listen to it when you ask that way. We're done asking, Drew. And people who share your sentiments, who express those and push them throughout the world, the airways, are the problem. And it's unfortunate because I considered you a friend. I looked up to you. You're somebody who I had a great deal of respect for. But sometimes you should shut the fuck up.
Wow.
I mean, dude, you can hear the emotion in his voice, man.
Oh yeah, you can hear him. I mean, he's fighting back tears.
People are hurt, man.
I know, and you have to feel Malcolm Jenkins' pain too, because what he said at the end, this was someone that he looked up to, someone he considered a close friend, and that's a betrayal.
Yeah, man.
That is a betrayal. To completely.
I mean, especially right now.
And we're really still on this national anthem shit?
Seriously, man.
That was 6-7 years ago. How long ago was that? But that shit was ridiculous then. But to still be angry about it now, and then to use the veteran excuse like Drew Brees did. Should I play?
No one doesn't respect the troops.
I'm gonna play the Drew Brees video just so everyone has full context in case they didn't hear it. I'll skip past this fucking dingbat asking the question and just get the Drew Brees response.
This for the rest of your teammates and players in the league.
America. Well, I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place.
Yada, 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 whatever.
Did black people not fight in the Army and fight for the country?
Oh, yeah. If you want to really dive into that.
I mean, come on, dude.
This was the belief I had when the shit was going down.
Like, all of our grandparents are veterans.
Right, dude? Dude, no one's kneeling and saying, fuck the troops. We hate them.
Dude. Like, come on, bro.
Dog, like, give me a break. It was never about that. And then this was my stance on this when it was happening 6 years ago. Again, this happened so long ago that I can't even believe. I thought we got past this. I thought we all sort of accepted, Colin Kaepernick got fucked. People can kneel. Whatever, let's move on. But I guess
not about the flag.
Right. And let's please understand this. The government treats the veterans like utter and complete trash.
Seriously. Utter
and complete trash. That doesn't even include the way that black veterans were treated when they returned from World War II. The GI Bill, they didn't even see that shit. And that sparked America as we know it today. Because when veterans got home from World War II, that's when you saw suburbs pop up. That's when you get the baby boom, hence baby boomers. That sowed the division that is still apparent in all of our counties, cities, states, whatever today.
Yep.
That you have these affluent white neighborhoods that have been there since the fucking 50s. And then the blacks are kind of pushed aside to like the project housing. And it's hard to expect people to succeed when you continuously place them in areas like that. But that's a completely different topic for a completely different day. Veterans are twice as likely to be homeless than non-veterans. They're more than a third of the homeless population. The number of homeless Vietnam veterans is higher than the number of veterans who died in the war. They're always using the excuse, dude. Dude, hey, guess what?
But yet all the politicians say is support our troops and we'll take care of the veterans.
Yeah, guess what, Drew Brees? The military and the government covered up Pat Tillman's death. They covered it up. Okay? Now, that was a fellow NFL player, someone who is actually regarded as a hero, and rightfully so.
And do we need to go over why the anthem's played at NFL games again?
Yeah, I mean, dude, people still fall for this.
Like, dude, come on, bro.
You guys are watching a U.S. Army commercial, and y'all are just soaking it up and eating it up. Good God, man. I mean, dude, no one's disrespecting the fucking anthem.
Seriously.
And here's the thing. I promise you, we don't care. If you polled Americans on how many people actually give a fuck about the national anthem, or anyone who can even recite all of the words of the national anthem, you know how even at sports games, dude, when they play it, they have the lyrics on the screen.
Who was it that messed it up one time?
Dude, that happens like every other year. Someone's like,
I'll never forget when Fergie sang it and all the Warriors players started laughing, bro.
That was a classic. That was a classic. And that's also the thing is, dude, half the time the singers go up there and just
were they
bastardize
disrespecting
it.
the flag then?
Yeah, right. The singers go up there and just do their drawn out versions. Like, dude, quit this. I want to share this quote real quick because it's relevant to this. Shay Jones, I got this from some article from some Tennessee paper. I think they're just asking local veterans how they felt about this. Shay Jones, a Marine vet who fought in the Iraq War, said, "Often veterans are used as a counter because no one wants to go against veteran issues." Boom. That's it. That's all you need to know right there. Literally. People just veterans because you really can't you can't bad talk veterans. So when they bring in, well, this is a veteran issue. You're disrespecting veterans. No, we're not. No, the people kneeling aren't disrespecting veterans. If I remember correctly, didn't Colin Kaepernick sit down with a Navy SEAL before he did all of it?
Cap was doing a lot of shit, man.
Colin Kaepernick sat down with the Navy SEAL and said, "Yo, what is the best way I can go about this? I don't want to come across like I'm disrespecting any of you guys or what it is you do."
Right.
And the Navy
they
SEAL
said kneeling.
Right, because kneeling was better than sitting. It's what they said because it's still a form of respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a sign of protest. It's just funny to me, like, so now we don't want people to have the right to protest, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier. People are fed up. You told people, and this is what Malcolm Jenkins said too. You told people that they couldn't protest before NFL games.
Yep.
So what protests are you okay with? Is there any? Or you just don't like black people? Is that really what it boils down to? So anyway, Drew Brees got rightfully criticized for this. Yeah. Doug Baldwin tweeted, this one was crazy. Doug Baldwin, he's definitely not Son League. I was about to ask you something like, the reason my children have to live in a world that won't empathize with their pain is because people like you are raising your children to perpetuate the cycle. Drew, you are the problem. Damn.
Wow.
Tweeted that directly at Drew. Aaron Rodgers said, "It has never been about the anthem, our flag. Not then, not now." Yeah, thank you, Aaron. LeBron said, "Wow, man." LeBron's kind of weird on social. The way he capitalizes certain words.
Yeah,
it's weird. Okay, anyway, wow, man, it's still surprising. Hold on. Okay, wow, man, is it still surprising at this point? Sure is it. You literally still don't understand why Cap was kneeling on one knee. Has absolutely nothing to do with the disrespect of the flag and our soldiers who keep our land free. My father-in-law was one of those. Dude, Drew Brees, read the room, buddy.
God, man.
Read the room. How can you sit down for an interview? You know what? If this was your beliefs, if I'm one of Drew Brees' PR people, you have to know that this is sort of what he believes. I'm saying, hey, dude, do not fucking say a word. Don't say a word. Don't accept interviews. This dude really went on the interview and thought he was going to say some profound shit.
Yeah, dude. Like I don't understand.
Did he expect you to be like, "Hey guys, listen, Drew Brees was right, man. Let's just put down all of our signs and go home."
Yeah, let's go home.
Come on,
did y'all
guys.
hear Drew Brees today? Come on, what are you doing out here?
Come on, guys. It's over, man.
He's so right. Yeah, he's so right.
It's my quarterback.
Not my quarterback. Okay. Wow. I just can't get over how Drew thought that was a good idea. And Michael Thomas is going out on him. Kamara going out on him. The Saints are going to have a closed-door meeting now to discuss this.
Oh, man.
I saw someone say...
Here we go, Jameis.
Oh, shit.
Here we go, Jameis.
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that, dude. Oh, my God. Jameis is coming in.
Jameis to the rescue.
Dude, if Drew Brees is forced out of town and Jameis leads...
Jameis would be beloved there.
And Jameis leads the Saints to Super Bowl, is he the next MLK?
Is he not the epitome of Louisiana?
Is he not the next Martin Luther King if Drew Brees is driven out of town and Jameis Winston wins the Super Bowl?
Oh, my God.
That would be hilarious, dude.
I would root for Jameis so hard.
I am actually rooting for that situation now. I did see some people tweet, how does Drew Brees even come back from this? He has to retire?
I mean, his teammates got to be like, when are they going to forgive him?
That's crazy. And the thing
What is he going to have to do for Michael Thomas to forgive him?
Some people made great points. If Drew Brees is like a 23-year-old rookie or something, then okay.
Right. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
You can, I don't want to say forgive his ignorance, but you can understand he's a young kid, probably came from a white background who just needs to learn his shit.
Right.
And needs to understand why this is going on. But a 41-year-old man who's been in the NFL for like half his life.
And have been in New Orleans?
Right? Like New Orleans is what, like 70% minority?
Yeah.
Dude, that is the greatest city on the planet, by the way.
I mean, dude, now you got Malcolm Jenkins on your team. Like, if anything, I'm calling Malcolm Jenkins first and seeing how I can help what he's trying to do.
Yeah, dude, and the way Malcolm Jenkins was talking in past tense, did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
You were my friend. I respected you.
It sounded like he was done.
No, yeah, it sounded like there was no coming back from that. I don't know. And speaking of my quarterback, Dak donated $1 million.
Yeah, he said some good things.
And I kind of get where people are coming from in criticizing him because he did donate to police departments.
Yep.
But what he said, though, it makes sense. So you're donating to help them institute de-escalating courses and help them better train their police officers to not resort to violence that quickly.
Which is what they need.
Right. 1,000,000%. The thing I'm mainly concerned about, I think Dak's coming from a great place. But the thing that I'm mainly concerned about is just we need to be sure where that money is going. If I was Dak, I need receipts.
He's got to track that.
Right. I need receipts.
I don't think he's just handing them $1 million check and being like, all right, here you go.
Yeah, that better not be going to AR-15s or fucking RVs.
I don't think that's the way he would disperse it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there had to be some agreement where I need to see.
Dude, you need to play that soundbite again because that is my quarterback.
Yeah, it's my quarterback. That is our quarterback.
That is my quarterback.
Not under contract, but
he will be.
We'll
get it done.
Wow, Jameis Winston. I didn't even think about that. Holy shit, dude.
Bro, Jameis is sitting. He's sitting pretty right now.
That Jameis needs to come out and make some profound statement, just pro-black as hell. Oh man, there's no way that he wouldn't be the starting quarterback of the team next year.
He might be when it's all
Can you
ready to
imagine
go.
how crazy that would be? Okay, let's get on to this story. Is really funny to me. This story is absolutely hilarious to me. DeMarcus Cousins gets now former Sacramento Kings play-by-play analyst Grant Napier fired from his job. Well, technically he resigned, but he was getting fired after a hilarious exchange on Twitter. One that really makes you scratch your head. So Boogie comes. This was several days ago, by the way, but Napier resigned yesterday, so it's pretty recent. Boogie came out and said, "It's crazy that all this shit has happened in a week." By the way, like we were recording last week, and this was nothing was happening. We were talking about nothing.
Yep.
Crazy how quickly shit can change. But anyway, Boogie directly tweets at Grant Napier at his Twitter. What's your take on BLM? All right, first and foremost, okay, you get that tweet. If you're Grant Napier and you get that tweet unprovoked from Boogie, Boogie wasn't responding to anything, just sent that tweet. What's the first thing you're doing? Not replying? Because obviously that's a loaded question. So let's read the room here. You should either reply like, Black lives definitely matter. If that was his response, then it's all said and done, right?
Right.
We're not even having this conversation. No, he responds in under 2 hours. Hey, how are you? That's how he starts his response, by the way, before he says some racist shit.
I'm looking at it now. Thought
you forgot about me. What? Haven't heard from you in years. All lives matter. Every single one. Wow. Look at this shit. What a buffoon. And then Boogie replies, LOL, as expected. Matt Barnes replied, would you expect nothing less from a closet racist?
Did you hear Chris Webber said?
No, what did he say?
He goes, DeMarcus, we know and have known who Grant is. The team knows as well. I've told them many times. They've seen it. They know who he is with 2 clown emojis.
God damn. If you don't like that, you don't like Kings basketball, ladies and gentlemen. He tried to backtrack his tweets, saying he even used a token black friend excuse. I think his was even more extreme. He said, I have more black friends than white friends. Napier also defended Donald Sterling during that whole debacle by saying, well, he's employed black people, so how can he be racist? Big genius. Real smart guy, Grant Napier. You know, what I was wondering, could that be an age issue?
I think so.
One, they grew up in different times, but I'm more saying the all lives matter crowd when they say that, because part of me believes a small percentage of them mean really well, and they're
Mhm.
trying to say like, yeah, all lives matter, including Black lives. But I don't think they realize the context of all lives matter and the way people use it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that a tiny percentage of people who say all lives matter are actually genuinely saying that.
I think we all know all lives matter, but like right now we have a part of lives that it doesn't seem like they matter. So
Well, it's also just like, yeah,
that's why
dude,
we're trying to focus on that part of their lives mattering, because it doesn't seem like that they matter.
well, Black Lives Matter literally is an all lives matter movement. Like it's yes, all lives matter.
Right.
So do Black lives. That's what we're saying.
Right.
No one's saying Black lives matter more than your white life or our white lives.
No.
So I thought that was a funny story. Boogie completely baited Grant Napier into getting fired, and Grant Napier took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. I mean,
I've
what's it?
always been a fan of Boogie.
These dudes cannot read the room at all. Like, dude, even if that's your belief, you just can't say it. Not in this climate. Not over social media for sure. And what's crazy is they probably think they're saying some profound shit. I guarantee you, Grant Napier tweeted that and he said, "Well, just watch how many people agree with me." Drew Brees is probably like, "I got something for him."
You know what's scary is there probably are a lot of people that agree with him.
Oh yeah. There's definitely people defending them well. Well, do all lives not matter? Shut up, fucking loser, bootlicker. Dude, bootlicker is hilarious. That is my favorite insult.
Yeah, explain the bootlicker thing.
I'm gonna start calling people bootlickers even when it's not even like a political thing. I'll have like a music discussion with someone. All right, shut up, bootlicker. They'll be like, what? Bootlicker is basically anybody who licks the boot of police officers or the government. So anyone who bows down to whatever they said. I called a friend a bootlicker in our group as a joke, and was away from my phone for a couple hours, and the person was not very happy that I called them that. And I had to apologize to them. I think it was a joke, but it is a funny ass insult in my opinion because people get really upset by it. What's funny to me is, you know, I stay pretty in tune with the conspiracy community, right? For some reason, this has really confused me. For some reason, a large portion of the conspiracy community, by nature, conspiracists are Republican a lot of the time. Just by nature of conspiracy theory, I'm not at all, but that's just the nature of it. But for some reason, dude, a lot of conspiracy theorists are like Trump diehard defenders and like police department diehard defenders. It's like, dude, do you not realize what a conspiracy theorist is and like the whole anti-government shit that comes with being a conspiracy theorist? So they're not really conspiracy theorists. Because that's another thing. That is a conversation for another day. Because I can go on for hours about how the conspiracy theory community has been infiltrated. That's a topic I'll say for another day. But anyways,
it's like any topic that's just infiltrated by people that think they know everything.
Well, I think it's more malicious than that. I think it was infiltrated by the government itself. Again, I'll go off the rails on this, so I'm just going to save it for another day. And another thing, the last thing regarding all of the current events before we get an actual sports talk, Paul Pierce, old man, Grandpa Paul Pierce,
who seems to always just
does it
say the wrong thing.
Well, we all know how terrible his takes are. He recently, in the past week, said LeBron James wasn't a top 5 player of all time. Could it have anything to do with
the Bucks are done?
Could it have anything to do with the fact that the LeBron just kind of spanked the Celtics around towards Paul Pierce's later years? I don't know. Who's to say? But we all remember when he tweeted the Rockets emoji, or he Instagram posted the Rockets emoji, and it was a picture from Google, and it wasn't even an actual real emoji. We remember that from like 5-6 years ago. He's not even that old, is he?
He's not that old.
I mean, dude, there are people who are way older than him that are much more social media savvy. Well, he took part in the Blackout Tuesday challenge. I don't even challenge doesn't sound like the right word, but he posted, or at least he attempted to post, an all black picture on his Instagram, and I guess he could just put his finger over his screen, and maybe move the finger a little bit too early, and half the picture is like light and the other half is black. And he's
Essentially saying the Gray Lives Matter movement.
yeah, the gray lives matter, alien lives matter, everyone's lives matter, and Paul Pierce is rightfully getting flamed in the
comments are
section.
hysterical, dude.
Dude, I'm looking at this picture. This is hilarious, man. Oh my God,
Dude, Paul Pierce, man.
that guy's a character.
He is, man.
Ever since Draymond Green told him that we don't love you like Kobe, it's just been a downward fucking trajectory for him. It's just been nonstop clowning. I think that's how social media and everything is once you get clowned once, everyone's like, oh, wait a second. We can just clown this guy relentlessly. And so they do. Oh, God, Paul. Oh, Lord. All right, let's get into actual sports. Or at least
Coming soon,
heard of
question mark?
sports. The NBA is back. So says
Hopefully.
Woj.
They're supposed to vote tomorrow, so
Woj made it seem like it was happening. This
fingers
doesn't-
crossed, though. I
this-
have a spooky feeling.
I think it'll be okay. I think their plan is good.
Yeah, it seems like they definitely took their time on it.
It seems like the best case scenario because I was going to – we talked about this last week. I was going to be furious if the Mavs somehow got sucked into some fucking play-in tournament. Even though
there is – we can go through the whole thing, but it's not impossible that they don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they only have to win 1 or 2 games to not
Yeah,
to
we
just
should be
avoid a
fine.
play-in. 22 teams are invited back. If you've been eliminated from the playoffs, fucking stay your ass at home. That's basically what the NBA said.
You basically you're still in it if you were only 6 – if you were within 6 games of the 8th seed in either conference. So there was 2 teams from the East and 6 from the West. Or 1, 2, 3, 4.
The
Yeah,
West
6
is
from the
returning,
West.
I mean, the vast majority of the conference.
Right.
Will be coming back for the West just because the 8th seed is up for grabs. Only the Warriors and Wolves, the Timberwolves, are not returning from the West. The Cavs, Hawks, Pistons, Knicks, Bulls, and Hornets are staying their ass at home.
Yep.
And every other team will be returning. 8-game season.
Yep.
So only 8 games.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and there might be play-in games if the 9th and 8th place teams are within 4 games of one another.
Yep.
Then they will play in a play-in game.
I'm kind of confused. So single elimination tourney for the 9 seed, double elimination for the 8th seed.
Oh, is that what they said? The thing that I saw only made it sound like it was a play-in game between the 9th seed and the 8th seed, if it came down to it. But I
don't
could
know
be
if
wrong.
that's what that maybe is saying. Like if you win the 9th seed game, then you're in. Or if you
I think
lose,
that's what
you
it
have to
is.
lose again.
I don't think that's the case. I don't know. It's still early.
I thought that was kind of confusing.
Keep in mind, this is June 3rd, and this shit just came out like a couple hours ago. So by the time this goes up, it's very possible that there's
be more concrete plan.
Yeah, there's further understanding as to what's going on. But Game 7, the finals will be October 12th. That makes things really interesting.
Football and basketball.
Because I've heard a lot of stuff recently that people have said that the NBA has wanted to push a season back to Christmas for a long time. That the NBA has wanted to push her season back. So maybe this is going to be used as a way to do that permanently. I don't know. Is a month and a half enough of it's over 2 months. Is over 2 months enough of a break for players if they do decide to start the next season on Christmas?
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure the players probably would be good with it. I'm not sure.
The thing is, though, I think it's going to be ugly when they're trying to figure out what to do for next season. I think it's going to turn ugly.
Okay.
Because it's a little bit easier now because you've already played the bulk of the season. So getting just however many teams you need to compete, they come back, they play at one place, and then the playoff teams play each other, whatever. That all works out. But when you're going to have to talk about an entire season,
yeah,
because I mean, I don't see a way. I know that with the news of the past week and shit, like a lot of people have kind of forgotten about the coronavirus, but just from still keeping up with it vaguely, it's hard to imagine a scenario where fans are back in stadiums by the end of the year.
Right.
And so I feel as though the NBA might have the same problem the MLB is having right now, where it's just not.
It seems like the NBA is handling it at least a lot better, though.
Well, the thing is,
like Adam Silver is really good with the players.
The NBA is in a much easier in the NHL. They're in much easier spots in the MLB because the MLB has to play their entire season. Both the NBA and NHL have the luxury of already playing their whole season, so they just have to worry about how do we finish the small remainder of games we have left. I don't know anything about the NHL, but last thing I saw, they were just going to go straight to playoffs.
They're
Right?
trying to do like a 20-team bracket as well.
See, that's easier to get all those people back, play for a month or two, and then they're going to have to figure out, without fans, how do we make enough money to sustain the league next season? Because it's going to be the same problem, dude. Like the same problem the MLB is having, where players aren't going to be happy about taking less money.
Right.
And the NFL can get away with it because they don't make. I mean, their gate revenue is such a small portion of the amount of money they make. They only have 8 home games, so teams obviously don't bank on fan attendance for money. It's TV deals and shit like that.
At halftime, we'd rather watch the games at home anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So NFL can function just fine with no fans.
Yep.
But the NBA is going to have an issue when you have 41 games a year of fans coming in, 20,000, 18, 20,000 people coming in, buying tickets, buying concessions, buying jerseys.
Yep,
paying for
MLB
parking.
too.
Yeah, MLB even more so when you have 81 games.
Rangers had a whole new crazy stadium build.
The MLB scares me, man.
Yeah, I'm worried about it, man. Reading up on it, it did not sound good.
It sounds like they really think they might not play this year. And
I mean, they just seem so far apart in what they want, what the players want, and what the owners want.
yeah,
Why? I don't get why the owners would want such a short season. They're
because
asking for like 50 games.
because they said that the longer the season is, the more money they lose because they have of operation costs and things like that without fans coming to the game. Because MLB teams rely on gate revenue.
Okay, right.
So the more games they play at home, the more money they spend, and they're obviously not making that money back.
Right,
And
right,
also the players and the owners agreed to prorated salaries for the players. So if they get paid based off of how many games they
But
played.
their percentages are so off.
Yeah, I know, but the owners came back and said, actually, we can't do that. So they're trying to, I don't know. The MLB one is messy.
MLB latest proposal on May 26th would drop top player receiving salaries of less than 23% of their salaries.
Yeah. It's bad because I did see that the top earning players
Like
Garrett
Mike Trout,
Cole and Mike Trout,
Garrett
make like
Cole.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's a tough. It's one of those situations where it's gonna require sacrifice from both sides.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of indicative of the times.
the stuff today, like it all seems sort of promising, but the stuff today that came out earlier today, where the MLB rejected the players who wanted a 114 game season, and they said they're not even gonna make a counteroffer.
Right.
That shit scares me. And it scares me too because they need to be working quickly. Because how many weeks do you think? So if they announce a season date, how far out do you think that season date would be? Because they need at least 2 to 3
time
weeks
to get ready
to prepare.
Yeah.
And then I would say they need at least a week or two before then to make sure their players are ready to come back, make sure they have everything in order. So we're looking
probably
at
like the NBA is doing like a month, like because NBA's not starting until July 31st.
right. But my thing was
That's a
baseball.
whole almost 2 months.
Baseball had a golden opportunity to get shit kicking up beginning of July, be the only sport for a whole month.
Yep.
The only sport to watch for an entire month. Because we saw the draft broke records. We saw how many people watch. Dude, people want sports.
Mm-hmm.
And the MLB is just fucking this.
Yep.
They are fucking, and it's scary too because the CBA is up in 2021. A lot of people even before this thought there's a chance that there could be a baseball strike next year. So
Right.
if they don't play this year, I have a hard time believing if they don't play this year that they're going to be on good enough terms to negotiate a new CBA. So if they don't play next year, 2 whole years, I don't see a way
Yeah.
baseball recovers from that
Right.
because it's already a sport that's losing interest. If I'm being blunt,
Yeah, it is.
and then
Which
you're
is
just
unfortunate.
going to go 2 whole years without playing. I mean, can we imagine a world without baseball? That would fucking suck.
Yeah. People like me and you would. A lot of people don't care, but
Yeah, but I think even people who don't care would be saddened to see that. Because it would just be like, man, that's a whole ass sport we're losing.
yeah,
It kind of sets a precedent.
it's part of October, right?
Yeah, October baseball. I mean, that little stretch there where the playoffs are happening, NFL season is going on.
We
and
need to see the
NBA and
Astros
NHL.
lose.
Yeah, come on, guys. Be united.
Come on, owners.
So, okay,
Get
how
it
about
together.
this? The Astros forfeit their entire salary, all of them. And then
Yeah.
that salary is divvied up upon every player in the league. That sounds fair to me.
I love that idea.
That sounds fair to me.
We should petition for that.
We'll start one.
A little slightly biased sponsored petition for the Astros to put up their money so that everybody can be happy and we can get
Yeah.
some baseball.
We'll go out and protest in the street. Yeah.
Yep.
What are you protesting? I'm protesting that all the Astros players forfeit their salary. I was like, what the fuck? That? But yeah, I'm scared of baseball. I really hope they figure it out. I really hope they figure it out, man. It's just like, it seems like both sides are so dead set on getting what it is they want. Because just in my research, it doesn't seem like the players are blameless in this.
No.
They're going to have to sacrifice at some point.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of that thing of like the percentage of revenue type thing where like, you know, everybody's talking about Patrick Mahomes' new deal where they might implement some sort of percentage of the salary cap, which is a whole new thing, right?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense for him.
Oh, yeah. But that would make a lot of sense in MLB too.
That could be the future of contracts.
It really could be. Because
it's going to get it kind of makes sense for, I'd say more so the player, because you can't accurately predict how high how much a salary cap is going to change on a year-to-year basis, and it's seeming like always increases.
Yeah.
So if you're saying I get a quarter of the cap space, then no matter where the salary cap goes, you're going to be the highest paid player at your position.
Right.
That's a really
I mean, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah, it'll be done with the days where, you know, Kirk Cousins is the highest paid player in the NFL.
Well, because remember the Rams had issues with Clay Matthews, to where like they didn't have the money to pay him.
That's right. Yeah, and Clay Matthews is suing them.
Right.
That is despicable. How do you not have money?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying, dude. LA.
Well, they're trying to. They underpriced their new stadium.
Maybe charge the Chargers more than $1 a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe have better business people in your organization.
Maybe go to a city that actually gives a fuck about your team.
Maybe you shouldn't have left St. Louis. Big dummies.
What an episode. Oh, man, sports. Please come back. I really hope.
How sad are we going to be if the NBA doesn't vote this in tomorrow?
Very saddened. I don't see it. See, the thing is with baseball,
it sounded positive though.
It does.
Like baseball, it sounds so bad.
Right, because even in baseball, you have players coming out like, "We'll never sign this." Like,
I
haven't seen any of that for the NBA. Oh wait, I did write something down for the NBA here that I thought was really interesting. The NBA, since they're going to be doing it at Disney World, which I think is fucking dope, by the way.
Yeah,
that whole idea of games being played all day in the same place, that is so badass. Reminds me of March Madness.
So even if we're not going to have fans, could we maybe see like other players in the stands type thing?
That could be possible. I'm not sure how they do.
That would be dope.
I'm guessing just for safety purposes, they're just
kind of brings back those like select days when like other teams are watching.
Yeah.
You know,
you're like trash talking. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But
I like little scouting reports too.
If I had to guess, I would say the NBA is just going to implement a thing where you play, you get the fuck off, go to wherever you need to go. They disinfect shit. I mean, they're going to have to take it super seriously as far as health and safety goes. But since it is being played at a spot, you're not going to have home court advantage in playoffs. So the NBA was thinking of ways that they could give teams like a artificial home court advantage.
Okay.
So some of those things were extra possessions. That sounds terrible to me.
I don't know about that.
That one is crazy.
Yeah. How would that work?
Extra coaches challenges. And then first dibs at picking a team hotel. So I'm guessing.
Can't we just call Roger Goodell and ask how he did the fans thing when he was doing the draft picks?
Yeah, just have video, like have a video thing of fans.
Yeah,
do it like an interactive fan thing.
Exactly.
That could get ugly.
Shouldn't our technology be good to do that?
I've seen commercials for this. I don't know if it's a real thing, but it looks so incredible that if you have one of those VR headsets, you could sit courtside at the game. Like there's like a perspective, like if you have the NBA League Pass and you have a VR headset, you can go in the VR
entirely
headset,
possible.
And you're watching the game from a courtside camera.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if this is just part of the commercial, but you can make like an avatar and sit courtside with another avatar, like you're at the game with someone.
Yeah.
I
think that should be possible.
That is crazy. That's crazy that's a real thing.
That sounds like the direction we're going.
VR, like it's crazy that VR is around, but no one really talks about it.
It's gonna keep getting crazier.
Like,
VR is gonna get bigger and bigger.
Real life VR is a thing, and it's really good.
Yeah.
And just knowing, I guess it's because it's really expensive, and like you need like a really nice PC to even get into it. I know PS4 has one, but I don't know anyone who uses it.
It's pretty dope. One of my uncles got one out here. It's pretty dope.
You've done it before?
Yeah. The
I've never
scary
done-
shit is terrifying.
I've never done a VR thing ever. I've never put on a
Oh
VR
my
headset.
god. They have like the Resident Evil.
Oh, fuck that.
Terrifying, dude.
Hell
Terrifying.
No. No way I'd ever watch that.
He's got this
I'd
like
play it.
demo where you go underwater and then like a great white attacks you.
Does it make you like motion sick at all?
Nah, but I mean, you feel like you're there
That is just crazy, man. The world-
when a big old shark is coming at you,
and we just sent
or a zombie bitch while you're tied to the chair.
two people into space and returned the rocket.
The rocket came back by itself.
This is what humans can do.
Yeah, that
we
was
just-
incredible, by the way.
If we just put aside all this dumb shit, all this hatred, it's crazy what we can do. That leads into beliefs. There are some crazy conspiracy theories, and these are really out there. So I don't even really like talking about them. Oh my God, hold on. Should we tell our listeners about that crazy ass noise near Texas A&M?
Man, that shit was weird.
What? Let me see if I can find this.
Was that just out there?
And
What
Brian?
was that city? Bryan, Texas?
I think that's by A&M.
Yeah,
Hold on.
terrifying.
I mean, what the hell?
And like multiple people capturing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here.
Sound screaming it's like a scream. It's so freaking loud, and it's coming from up in the air, like up there.
What's
What's going on now?
What is
What?
that?
I don't know, dude.
Huh? What is that? That
Dude.
no, and the scary thing is usually you'll see like a video like this and there's only one person has a video and you're like,
Oh yeah.
who knows that?
It was
there are
it
like
was a bunch of them.
this Twitter thread has at least like 20.
Yeah.
Here's another video, by the way. Okay, that one is really faint in the background.
Okay, so I went ahead, like way off in that direction.
I mean,
somewhere.
what the fuck? What even could that be?
I don't know. They were talking about something with the Jets earlier in that day. But it's not like the Jets are still up there or anything.
One of our friends made a I don't know what the fuck I was supposed to say. A couple of our friends who went to A&M, Texas A&M, which is around that area, did say that there's like a military base around there. So that makes
Yeah.
sense, you know.
But still, what is that?
That scream. I think I saw that some official came out and said, "Hey guys, it was a gas leak." A gas leak? Screaming now? We gotta get to the bottom of this, guys. We gotta get to the bottom of this. This plays into a conspiracy that's floating around, actually, that the government is planning a false UFO invasion. There was this thing called Project Bluebeam, I believe it was called. That's a real thing that governments got together and sort of discussed the idea of a fake world invasion to sort of unite the world into a one world government. A real thing.
Yeah, and what is the news about China trying to invade India and all that too?
Yeah, that completely went under the radar.
Right?
That completely
Dude,
went.
the world is getting spooky.
Hold on, I'm trying to find. Is it called Project Bluebeam? It's called something. I don't know. I've heard about it before. But yeah. The idea is that the government is preparing us with the lockdowns, getting us used to being inside. I don't believe in any of this shit, but that's what people are saying. I don't believe in any of it. Would that be cool? Actually, no, wouldn't it?
No.
A fake UFO invasion? A real, I've said if I had to die in an alien invasion would 1,000,000% be my number one way. Considering I would be like eviscerated or something, just really quick. I don't want to be like tortured and probed or anything.
It's like laser beamed.
Yeah, just laser beam me at the sky. But give me a couple days though to see the aliens moving
If
around.
yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe you could survive. You know.
Maybe I'm the chosen one.
Yeah. Maybe
Maybe
they
they-
just take you. Maybe they just take you.
Maybe they come and say, Conley, Bach, where is he? I'm like, what? That's me.
Who has the slightly biased show?
They are our leaders. All right.
Their podcast was so good.
Yeah, that is, you know, this is actually something that I thought about. Just how think about how we view shit from like 1,000 years ago. Because I was reading something about how some of like the really famous old composers, like back in their day, like weren't known at all, like weren't famous, but like their sheet music was preserved for however many years, and then we found it 100 years later. We're like, oh, this composer was really big and famous, but they really weren't in reality.
Right.
Like, what if in 1,000 years the internet is purged? Because at some point they're gonna have to erase old internet shit because there's just not enough room to store all of it. But just a tiny sliver of things fall through. And what if it's slightly biased? It's one of those that just trickle. And the futures only look into the 2020s.
Yeah. Well, they're getting great content.
That's actually so crazy that that's going to be a thing where we have just all this recorded history now where people 1,000 years from now can look back and watch videos, have pictures, hear us talk. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine if we had videos of what the fuck was going on in Rome 1,000 years ago?
Right.
Damn, it's crazy.
Or like the Indians days when people first came to America.
Yeah, like imagine if you could see that. Oh, because people would definitely be on Snapchat and shit. Like, look at these guys. Look at these ships coming across the horizon. Man. If people are listening to this from the year 3000, shit's crazy out here, man.
Good luck.
Shit's crazy out here. Hopefully it got better. Hopefully the Trump family's still not in charge. The Trump dynasty has ended. I've seen so many people on Twitter be like, they want to reelect Trump, and then they want Melania Trump to run, and then they want Donald Trump's son to run.
Doesn't like every Trump or like presidential family that gets said about though?
Yeah, but these people actually want it to happen. I guess that's true. I think people wanted Michelle Obama to run. Not really the Bushes though. I don't remember. Well, I guess you had Bush Senior and then Bush Junior.
Right.
So, yeah. All right, that's what we got this week. A pretty heavy
Yeah, man.
episode, but it's
Yeah.
heavy times, man.
We're usually not heavy though, so
Right. Hopefully next week. Hopefully, I mean, we're praying that we can come on here and just be talking about just nonsense. If we have to come out next week and be heavy again,
GG's.
All right. See ya.
Later.